single. Handsome man on our show tonight.
Bam.
Woo! Bam!
Right.
Single
All
ladies,
right.
call
Welcome.
in.
What you say, Kim?
Single ladies, call in.
Let it put a ring on it. Put a ring on it. All right.
That you can see.
Rodney said, what am
That you
I?
can
What
see.
am I?
Wait a minute, let us say it that you can see.
That you can see.
Rodney said, do I really want to be on this show tonight? But we welcome you to the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma, Kimberly, and Linda. And our special guest tonight is Rodney Greenwood. Woo! Yes, we're so excited to have him. But before we get started, you have to finish what you start, Rodney, on this show. Okay? You got to finish what you start. You got it?
I got it.
Okay. That's Philippians 1:6, so read it all the way, but that's my version of it. Because we love for people to finish what they start on this show. So tonight we're blessed, and Rodney has an awesome story. I mean, testimony. I was reading this, and I was like, man, gosh, I can't believe all of this here. Can I read just some of it?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to read just a little of it. I gave each one of you all this, and Rodney has an exceptional testimony. I mean, to look at him, I was like, he doesn't look like what this is saying.
Right.
Nothing like what this is saying. He says, I, Rodney R. Greenwood, am a Master of Science, Organizational Leadership graduate. This would not be possible if my grandmother had not stepped in and adopted my brother and me. She moved us back to San Antonio, Texas from Phoenix, Arizona. The adoption was welcome since we survived being shuffled through the foster care system.
Absolutely.
For about a year. The road to redemption was not easy. I faced physical, mental, and emotional abuse resulting to my failing the third grade. My natural mother allowed her fiance to occasionally lock me and my brother in our room for days and nights, depriving us of clothes on our back.
Water.
He proposed to my mother to separately part from her kids. We were left on the steps, y'all, of the police station with a 3-page letter, what's that word?
Vehemently.
Thank you, say it for me. Trying to justify their decision. My brother was 8 and I was 9.
Wow.
I mean, right there, that touched my heart right there.
Yeah.
At the age of 8
And how old was your
and
mom?
9.
Mid-30s at that time.
Mid-30s. Is your mom still living there?
She is. She's still in Phoenix, Arizona.
Really? Do y'all have a relationship right now?
You know, I have forgiven her. That's
Okay.
the first thing we
Good,
have to
good,
do.
good.
The first thing. But we do not have a relationship, to answer your question.
Okay.
Not saying that I do not eventually want to have a relationship with her, but we don't have one now.
Okay.
Is she still with the same man?
Yeah.
Eventually, they had 2 boys together. So I have 2 half-brothers, and they're in the penal system now in prison. You know, so it's just one of those situations where she met someone that derailed her life, you know, but I can't blame him. I got to blame her as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, that's your mother.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
your grandmother stepped in. Now, is
She
your
did.
grandmother still living?
She passed away about 10 years ago, and she was the rock for us. She is the reason who I am today.
Okay.
Because, you know, she kept us in church, and she never knew the full story
Right.
of what we were going through until we decided at an older age to let her in on something. The story my mother told her was we were bad. You know, so she just couldn't deal with us anymore. And so that's the reason why. So she had to make up this fictitious story. Well, that wasn't the truth. She just met someone who didn't like us. And the way I feel, if you meet a woman that has kids, that's a total package.
That's right.
You either bring them all on or you don't bring them on at all.
Right.
But she, in her mind, she allowed this man to separate her, ostracize us, and eventually talked her into getting rid of us. That way he can start his own family with her.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's like, what, a narcissist? Would that be under that?
Yes.
Narcissistic
Behavior.
What, Kimberly? Don't get Kimberly started, I tell you. But you know that, and I know that
But-
had to
but
be
you know,
physical.
Before you
mental.
go on, finish
Uh-huh.
with your start. You know, he's United States Navy retired grandma that had to be
Yeah,
Absolutely.
20
right.
years in the Navy.
I knew she was gonna say that before I could get it out. Why, Kimberly? Because you have what?
Two
Sons in the Navy. We salute. We salute.
We
salute.
sure do.
All right, and thank you for your service.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for your
thank you,
service,
thank you.
20 years. And
You
you
know-
look so young
Let it on.
Yes, how
to have 20 years.
You know, I turned 50 August.
No,
6th.
you
No,
did
you
not,
didn't,
Rodney.
Rodney. No.
Dang, Rodney, you look
You
good.
look great,
I don't know why I
Rodney.
was thinking his 30s or 35.
Rodney, forget.
What you doing, Rodney?
You look amazing, Rodney. Oh my gosh.
Are you
Rodney.
serious?
Probably
You
not
got your
doing it.
AARP card too.
I threw that in the trash can.
Oh, Rodney, we love ours. You go to Dennis, baby. You get 15% off.
Well, I get a lot of
Rodney,
discount being
I
a
did not
former
know
retired
that.
military.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't
retired.
believe that. And look, y'all, he's 50, looking handsome,
Yes.
got muscles,
We-
and he's single. He can put a ring on your finger.
We're going to post his
Large
pictures
diamond.
later.
A large diamond now, because he's retired Navy. And he ever been with some? Oh, well, he might have a girlfriend, y'all. We might.
Do you have children, Rodney? Do you have children?
I have two older daughters.
How old are you?
20. One just turned 29, and the other's 24.
Oh
I
my
cannot
gosh,
believe that.
Rodney, no.
They have a young dad to have fun with. Wow.
And I told my friend this joke. I said, if they have kids, don't call me granddad.
I
Call
know
me-
I know that's
Call
right.
me Rod or something. I don't
No, they
deserve
gonna call
that
you
yet.
Papa.
No, see, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Come on, Papa.
This is that one time I'll let them call me by my first name.
Hey,
I know, right?
What's up, Rodney? Yeah.
That's a good one. You don't want to be Papa.
Oh,
Don't call them grandma.
no.
I heard that. We
That
had several that don't
Not
want to
right
be
now.
called that.
Not
All
right
right.
now. Not right now.
That's good. That's good.
So where's your brother?
He's in San Antonio.
Okay, what does he do?
He's a barber and he's a realtor.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
okay.
What's his name?
Zachary.
Hey, Zachary.
Zachary.
Hey.
So did he have any repercussion of how?
They.
Or does
I
he
just-
talk to you about it? You know,
We
how
don't
y'all
really
have a
talk about.
conversation?
I'll tell you the funny thing. He called me maybe 3 or 4 years ago. He said, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, "Guess who tried to reach out to me on Facebook?" I was like, "Who?" He said, "Joe. Joe is the man that talked my mother into dropping us off."
Oh
Are
my
you serious?
I just it caught me off guard. What
Joe
does
is
it-
the one that your mother married.
Yep.
And he's trying to get in touch with
Reached
your
out
brother.
to him.
Wow.
Maybe he wants to ask for forgiveness.
Well, maybe so, but
Or
you
get
know,
beat up.
He knows better to reach out to me because I have no words for him. You know, I've forgiven him as well.
Yeah.
Right.
But you
But
just
I
don't
ha-
want
I
that
have-
distance.
that-
Yeah.
that's my past, and I just choose to leave it there. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I didn't realize until I started doing open mic poetry that was my outlet because I had a lot of internal anger
Yes.
built up
Bill,
inside.
yes.
And I was a very emotional person, and I didn't realize until about 3 or 4 years ago, I did an endorsement for my book, and I got up there to tell my story.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me, and I just became overwhelmed emotionally
Wow.
because I had never been able to just sit and tell someone what I had gone through.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it felt so good once it was released.
That's
Wow.
good.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Rodney. Rodney and I, we work together.
Yeah.
But anyway, I never picked that up from you at work, not one time.
Because I
Because
just
you're just always
you'll
so
never
kind
know what's
and
going on with me.
respectful and thoughtful to
Mhm.
everyone. Even the workforce, it can get intense.
Mhm.
I mean, but you never allowed that to come out.
One thing you'll never know what's going on in my life.
Until you tell us.
Absolutely.
But we gonna know
I
tonight.
always, yeah, absolutely. I always wear the same face.
Poker face.
That's really
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
you look good.
And your heart is
Because he's not frowning
your
or
heart.
nothing.
Yeah.
And he's not stressing over it now.
And ladies, while we're talking, his Facebook page is Rodney R. Greenwood. Go check it out. These pictures bad. These pictures are bad.
And he's a caring young man. You can
He
see
really
that.
is, he really
He
is.
doesn't stress, so y'all not gonna stress him with that foolishness. He gonna tune your A out, okay? So Rodney ain't the one to bring no
no
baggage.
drama.
Absolutely.
That's right.
I
He'd
move
have been
forward.
through
Yeah.
enough.
Right.
He said he faced physical, mental, and emotional abuse. So hey, he don't have time for that bull crap.
Right.
Cause we trying to get a ring on your face. Okay, so you went through all of this here. You failed the third grade. You went to they put you in special ed, you said, right?
Well, they introduced
Introduce
it,
you to special
and
ed.
but they never officially put me
Put you
in.
in there.
But I was in remedial classes because
Okay.
I couldn't focus
Okay.
as a child
Right,
going through
yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
Just the physical and the mental and emotional abuse, and then being in the system, staying with different families.
Wow.
It's a lot considering you were in elementary school, and then it was hard for me to focus in class.
So you went from one foster care parent. Okay. Was this after she dropped you off at the police
It was
station?
emergency family that initially stepped in, and we were there. We stayed with them for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
They had a family emergency, so the agency had to find another family.
Wow.
We stayed with the other family for several months, and then finally a third family stepped in, and we were with them. We thought we were going to be with them for the rest of our lives. Well, my grandmother intervened. She called them, and she told them she wanted to adopt us.
Wow.
And
So how did you feel going? I mean, y'all was still at the age 8 and 9 when all this was happening?
let's say 9 and 10.
Okay,
Yeah,
9 and 10. So mentally, that had to affect you because here's your mom. Where's the dad?
He was in San Antonio. He's always lived in San Antonio.
This is I'm talking about your biological.
My
dad.
biological. He was always in San
Do
Antonio.
you have a relationship with him?
He passed away as well.
Okay. So you didn't.
And
get
we didn't
that.
have see, we were deprived of that.
Okay.
Because she kept us away from our family in San Antonio.
God.
And so and
Wow.
as a kid, it's hard to process what's
Yeah.
It
going
really
on.
is.
You
It
just
really
don't.
is.
You think
It
this?
really
This
is.
is what the world is about.
That's what I was going to ask you
You
next.
really
It's hard to process.
No answers for you.
I remember. Oh my goodness. Bear with me. I know I was maybe 8 years old, 6 months. Actually, it was a couple of days before they dropped us off at the police station, and they were about. My mom and Joe, that's his name. They were about to walk to the corner store. And in Phoenix, we lived on the corner lot, and they had a sidewalk, both on the side of the house and in the front of the house. And we had these big wheels. And so I remember before they went to the store, Joe said, "Do not be on the sidewalk." Okay, so they went to the store, and as they were coming back, I remember I was riding my big wheel. I made this wide turn, so I kind of touched the sidewalk. And when they came through the house, and I had that anxiety because I knew something was about to happen. So he told me to let me tell you what he told me. He told me to leave his house.
At what age?
Keep in mind, I'm 9 years old.
Get out of here.
He told me to leave his house. And, again, trying to process, what is this real? So as a kid, I remember going to one of my friends' house. It had to be around 5 in the afternoon. I went and I played with them for, 2 or 3 hours, and they had to go inside. And this was a Saturday, because I remember Sunday, I went to church with another family. And so I went and played with them. They had to go inside. And the later it got, so I said, okay, let me walk back towards my house just to see if they're looking for me. I wanted them to look for me.
Right.
And I walked back to the house kind of scared, and I noticed the lights were still on, but no one was outside. So we had this garage in the backyard.
Were your brother with you?
He was still inside. No, I was the only one that had to leave. And I went inside the garage, and I was in there for about an hour, but I was scared because I knew that dude was about to come in there. So what I did was I walked to my elementary school. And you guys remember when we were in school, they had those big old cement cylinders. You can crawl in one end, go out the other end, or you can straddle it. I slept inside one of those.
So he actually told you not to come back.
I slept inside one of those. The next morning I got up, which was a Sunday morning. I went to another friend's house, and I remember we just had a blast, So all of what I'd been through, that pain was temporarily on hold.
Right.
Were they looking for you between those
I don't know.
times?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
So I went to a friend's house. I remember we was making pancakes, just being a kid,
Yeah.
And but no one knew, and that's probably why I still wear the shield. No one knew what I was going through as a kid.
So you kept all that in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And so I remember I went to Sunday school with them. There was a bus that picked us up, took us to Sunday school, took us to church, and dropped us off. Went back to his house. We're playing some more, and his mom gave us a couple of dollars to walk to the convenience store. So he and I walk into the store, and all of a sudden, guess who comes around the corner?
Joe.
My mom and Joe.
Uh-oh.
And so he motioned for me to get home. So, I'm scared now because I know what's about to happen. And so I'm running home, and I went inside the house, talked to my brother, and he asked me where was I the previous night. And that's the day Joe he came home, told us to get inside the van. We drove for about 30 minutes, and that's when they dropped us off at the police station.
Oh,
And
She
it
didn't
was
say nothing.
not one thing. It was just amazing, what type of mom?
Was she crying or
No.
no
She
emotion whatsoever?
handed. I remember specifically. She was on the passenger side, and she handed this letter to me, and she told me to take it inside to the guy at the front desk, and they drove off. And it was just
And you didn't
again,
know what was going on.
again. You tried, and I remember the policeman. He read the story, 2 or 3 minutes, and he read the story. And he told us to have a seat in the waiting room, and we were in there for about 2 or 3 hours because now they're contacting the agencies. We need an emergency shelter for 2 kids, and it was just. But again, as kids, we just don't comprehend at that age
You're right.
what is going on.
Because you didn't open up the letter.
Absolutely, we did what she told us to do.
And so the policeman didn't say anything.
He just told us to have a seat,
And that was it.
and then that's when a caseworker showed up
Golly.
several hours later and told us they were going to temporarily house us, and that's when we started going through the system. So yeah,
Did
it
you
was
cry at
I
that time?
cannot remember.
Huh?
But let me tell you the funny story. So after we went through with staying with the families and my grandmother adopted us, we were somewhat relieved because we're back in San Antonio. I had an older brother that was there, and my grandmother was also raising my 2 cousins, her son's kids. So just, a lady
So
at
you
her
became a
age.
family.
Yeah. And a lady at her age because she worked at Kelly Air Force Base for a long time. And just the unselfishness to had raised her own kids to
Right.
adults, but then also to provide
To
a
raise
shelter for her
grandkids.
kids.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. So after a year of us being there, we're having fun, no worries. Well, guess who decides to make a visit?
Your mom and
And
Joe.
Joe.
Ooh, that Joe, he keeps showing up.
So
Mom and Joe.
Why does Joe keep showing up? Although he's
again, I believe she felt in her head that they didn't know, the family truly didn't know what had happened to us.
right.
So it was easy for them to face her
Ooh,
mom.
That's hard.
So we were on the porch one day, and my granddad told Joe something I did. Maybe I was bad at school or something. I don't know. And so Joe calls me over to his van. He had this yellow Scooby-Doo looking van with the door that slide open. And so he's working on the motor on the inside of the van. And that tone, I knew something was about to happen. So he's pretty much chastised, why did you do this? Or whatever he was saying. And he had this monkey wrench. I don't know if you guys ever seen a monkey
yes,
wrench.
I've seen a monkey.
If you haven't, Google it. So he was working on the inside of the van with this monkey wrench. And all of a sudden, he took that monkey wrench and he threw it and it hit me right dead center of the chest.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
my
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. I still say that to this day.
Oh, he's
I
bad.
wanted so badly to pick that wrench up and throw it. And if I killed him, I killed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did
But-
you have to go to the hospital?
No, I didn't.
But okay, this is when after your grandmother
This
has
is after.
adopted you, and actually he didn't have nothing over you.
Absolutely.
So what did your grandmother know that
No
he
one
did?
knew. No one
Oh,
knew.
You
you
didn't
didn't
tell
tell
anyone?
grandma?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh
I just-
my
But
God!
yeah, I just
Grandma
wanted
Joe
to.
probably come on,
Would've
Linda,
gone
where
off
Joe
on
is.
her.
Probably.
real, I
So
would've
yeah,
whooped
he's
Joe's
an awful dude. You
And
know.
now he's trying to reach out to your
Tried to reach out to my brother. They found the right one to reach out to. I'm not that dude. I'm telling you.
So your mom is dead.
No, she's still alive.
Your mother's still
Mhm,
alive.
mhm. And she's in Phoenix.
Okay, she's in Phoenix.
Mhm.
So what did she tell you? Her mama.
Again, she made up some story that, and again, I don't know. I'm just reaching.
Yeah, reaching,
But
but
I don't. Maybe she said she couldn't control us, and that was not. We were
Yeah.
typical
Yeah, you
8-9-year-old
yeah.
kids. You know, we weren't bad. We listened. We went to school. We played. But of course, how can you tell your mom that you got rid of your kids for a man? You can't.
no, you can't.
So you got to
because-
make up a story. You got to create something.
So
Yeah.
what's I want is the history. I mean, with her behavior towards you.
Mhm.
How was the history between her mom and her dad? Do you know?
I
If,
don't know.
if there was anything.
I don't.
You know,
I don't know.
because
Was
it
your mom
takes a
on
lot.
drugs?
It takes a lot for a mother to.
How old was your mother when she gave you up?
Yeah,
Let's say mid-30s. Yeah,
that's
she,
what
she,
she
had,
was.
she had to be
Was she
mid-30s.
that's
alcoholic? Was she
young,
on
but
drugs?
that takes a lot for a mother to give up her children.
Well,
Especially boys.
Yeah, that takes a ooh.
you know, I'll never forget because when I tell you, I used to go to school some days and I would conceal the scars on my arms because this man, if he could have killed us legally and got away
He
with
would
it,
have.
that's what he was trying to do.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget this one day he just beat, and I know one time he used this old walking cane. It was made out of fiberglass. But one time I couldn't imagine what we got in trouble for. But I never forget. I had to use the restroom that night, and I urinated blood, and I never told my mom.
Mm.
Yeah, that's how bad it was, and only a few people know about it to this day. But I wanted to leave it in the toilet so she can see what she's allowing this man to do to us. But I flushed it because I was scared, so she never knew. But it was just, and let me say this: I don't think my story is any better or any worse than anyone else's story, because we all have a story to tell.
Yes, we do.
And I believe we should all, if we go through things, we are the outlet, because you never know who that story can help.
You're right.
Someone
You're
that's
right.
possibly going through it, that have gone through it, but do not know how to deal with it.
Yeah, I remember when my stepfather he got angry with me, and he taken a broom and he whopped me on my arm right here, which I still have the hump from that, and that was when I was young. And it still stays with you. And your question is why? Why are you being treated this way? But I'm just.
But you have that today. You have women that will walk off and leave their children for a man. That still goes on today.
Yes, it
but
does.
like Rodney is sharing, that it still affect you even at 50. You can still remember that you were saying. Some people say, "Oh no, kids can't remember that at that age." Yes, they can.
Oh, man.
They can remember that.
Like it was yesterday.
So how are you with your daughters?
Great relationship. And you brought up a great point. Any girl that I date that has kids, I always have your kids come before me.
I like that.
And that's the bottom line.
I like that.
Because if I see that someone's trying to put me before their kids, then that means we're not going to work out.
Okay.
Because it's out of line. It's your kids, and then it's me.
And then because you think about what you have experienced, and you don't want
Absolutely.
you don't want them
Your
to go through
children have
that.
that
And you
trauma.
never want a child to feel like they gotta choose,
Or
And
feel
everything.
neglected,
Being neglected.
Yeah. And that's another thing. When I meet a woman that has kids, I come down to their level.
That's
I
right.
sit on
You
the
have
floor
to.
with them and play
You have
games,
to.
because that's the only way they're able to comprehend what's going on.
And they may be thinking of something, why? And you can help them with
And that's
that.
good, Rodney, because they don't know how to process.
They don't.
Where would
don't.
they get the
Because they don't
information from?
understand.
Where would they get the information from?
Right. If they're not being told, what happened. So then you went on and you ended up going to school. You got so much in here that we can't do in all this time. But you end up going to school. You finished school. You went to college. You talked about how you failed in college, and then you end up going to the Navy.
No, so what happened, I tried junior college before I enlisted in the Navy. That didn't work. I'm up in the game room burning my grandmother's money. So I made some decision. And again, let me say this before I go any further.
Yes.
God has always been my foundation. So
Yes.
wherever I was stationed, I always found a church. I always found a
Yes.
place to
Yes.
serve and a place to give back. And he's always been my rock. So that's why
Yes.
I've been able to make it from such a young age to the age I'm at now. Because I always give back for him.
Right.
That's good.
But yeah, I attended a junior college. That didn't work. Went to the military. Then after, so I guess they call it a postgraduate student. So after I retired from the Navy, then I enlisted. Then I decided to go to school. I wanted to challenge myself because
Good.
again, when I graduated high school, I was probably like the last out of 250 as far as the GPA.
Yeah.
And I've always struggled, but my struggles are from my past.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
yes.
obviously the military gives us money for school
Yeah.
and they pay us to go to school. So that's a
Right.
win-win. So
That's
I said,
a win-win.
Let me challenge myself. Let me take a couple of classes and let's see how this works. And I remember I made an A and a B. I'm like, okay, it's not so bad. And to make a long story short, I ended up within 5 years. I started school in 2011 and I finished in 2016. I was able to achieve my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's.
Wow.
And look, check this out. He had a 3.2 GPA.
That's
Now see what number you are in graduating. Some of the people that were before you probably done failed everything. in life.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
the determination didn't stop.
Absolutely.
You challenge. I like when you said you challenge yourself
Mhm.
and everything. Okay, so now Rodney, you end up writing your book, and this book is called "The Stage Sold to Mike." Is
Actually,
that-
that's my third book.
oh really?
This is the most recent. Yes.
Oh my God.
When I say
what's
recent.
the other two books called?
Poet from the Heart. That's my very first book. It's a black and white, very generic. And
Okay.
then I wrote a Poet from the Heart too. And then this is my third book.
Oh, okay.
Wow, Rodney, I didn't know that. I thought
didn't
it was
know
your
they say
first
the
book.
stage is the true depiction of life encountered from a man's point of view. It takes you through a time where even a child didn't have a voice or a choice, forced to enter a man's world. And that didn't come from James Brown. This is a man's world. Okay, this comes from Rodney here. So Rodney, so all three of this is your third book. So the other two books were that. Did you talk about your life in those two books as well?
I did. Yeah,
You did?
that was my outlet.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like when you said right here, you said when you was in middle school, one day at Emerson, I was called out in class and questioned about possibly being switched to a special education class.
I'll never forget it. Yep.
I suddenly had a bad case of tunnel vision. I envisioned myself being dropped off by a short yellow bus in front of the school, wearing a plastic helmet accompanied with a chin strap, shaking my head. I don't mean to laugh because, but it's the way you wrote it. Like, all I saw was me being let out in front of the school, and everybody else, the normal kids, are looking at me with the helmet on and strap. Why would you have that type of vision?
I wanted this to be serious.
Yeah.
But I also wanted it not to be so serious where you could laugh.
Yeah,
because you got to be able to laugh at some of the struggles you go through. And that was the purpose of that interject.
You got a laughter. I don't mean no harm, but that's kind of cute. But do they drop you off in the front? I thought they did it on the side.
I don't know, but I never entered that program. And no offense to anyone, but I was determined to challenge myself to do better as a kid. And so, fortunately.
Les Brown. That's what Les Brown.
Yes, that's what I thought about.
Yeah.
So this book here, these is a poem.
So it's poetry, and then the beginning of my autobiography. I give you a snapshot, the intro into my autobiography, which is towards the end of the book.
It's awesome.
Some of the things I went through in the military. Yeah. Yeah.
And I like this one. It says deliverance. That's on page 75. He said, I ask you to deliver me, Lord, from my pain. I seek comfort and shelter from you out of the rain. Lord, I pray for patience to humble myself so I can be an example for others. Lord, I can feel that. Lord, I ask for you to walk with me so I can minister, giving me the strength and knowledge I need to become successful. Finally, Lord, I ask you to unlock the door that has hidden me away for years. Let this revelation be now. I am ready.
Wow.
Boy, you can just feel it.
Yeah.
Now,
Reading
Rodney,
this.
when did you become a Christian? When you got with grandmother or before your mom?
I was always Christian, but our grandmother kept us in church.
Okay.
And, I was part of the young people. It was called YPD.
YPW.
It was young people's department. So I was a part of that. And so I've just always enjoyed serving and being a part of them. That's why when I went to the military, that's still no excuse. Just because you're stationed in different places, God is everywhere. And so you can find somewhere to worship God and serve. And that's what I did. And I always kept myself in church.
That's good.
Always.
You finish what you start. So do you stand up and do your poetry? What's it called?
Open mic?
Spoken word.
Oh, spoken word.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you do some spoken word?
Can you get the mic and
let me see. Yeah. So what do you guys need me to do?
I
Sit down, stand up,
You can
Am I facing them? I'm facing you.
No,
you're facing him.
Talk to them
Everybody
single
here.
women. You got some single women to draw them in?
And remember, women, he's single.
Oh, I don't need to stop. You know what? Yeah. Let me grab a stand.
That's fine. And remember, this is Rodney R. Greenwood. His story, HIS story. And where can you find this book in, Rodney, while you're getting ready?
I used to have them on Amazon, and I'm trying to get back in and promote my book. So this is a great...
Well, we promote Rodney's book, y'all. Go and get The Stage Sold to Mike.
Be on the white line.
So we can make sure the ladies see you from head to toe. That's all right.
This is on?
Yeah, it's on.
You see the...
Emmanuel, he's right.
Is it right? Okay, good. Go for it, Rodney! Woo! Speak to us, Rodney.
So this poem is entitled A Man's Plan. What's funny to me is when I'm home by myself and I'm thinking about my life and I'm wondering what I could do to prove to you that I'm ready for this next step. absorbing in soft music in the background as if it were my last breath. My life to me, my life I feel is almost complete, but something I've been lacking. That's you, my queen, to lay roses at your feet. It's a feeling I can't explain that every man, and if he's a man, should feel, accepting my queen for who she is, and that is carrying out my God's will. My plan as a man is to extend my hands. It's to protect you, not threaten you for being you. No matter what Satan attempts to put us through, my faith will always reside over the two. My plan is to lift you up when hard times bring you down. Protect you. My future to me and my eyes, girl, you will always wear a crown. My plan as a man is to stand on my own foundation with planting both hands, resisting all this temptation that this world continues to carry us through. My vows will always lie within you. Because it's not up to you to wonder, well, where will we live or where will our kids play? I got this. Because I thank God for every night together with you, hoping and praying that he will bless us with another day. My plans to make your every day your best day, your only stay. Girl, this brother promised, I promise I would never lead you astray. My plans to love you, rub you, confide in thee, for you to never worry about laboring, because God has placed that obligation on me. Now check this out. Not to work is your choice. Ephesians 5:21-23 says that the man is the head of the household. In other words, God has blessed me with a leader's voice. My plans to come correct, give all respect, to carry out what he has placed on my soul. As long as I have breath in my body, you'll always reside on a pedestal. My soulmate, my life, being blessed with you, asking God for permission to make you my life. All I ask of you is for you to be there. Let me know every day, every night, especially at the weakest point in our relationship, girl, that you care. Don't stare, better yet, have a glare of love in your eyes. In the morning, we'll sit before work, and guess what? Watch the sun rise. Because God is blessed with everything I've ever wanted. He's also blessed with everything he knows I need. For once, I left it in his hands when I got off my knees. My plan is to wait patiently for this day, breathless, helplessly seeking patience. My queen, no other replacement can fill that void I have in my heart. The foundation laid for you. That's my start. My plan is to keep it together, not allowing us to part or start to dislike each other, always worrying about those worldly things. Leave that to those worldly people. In the book of Proverbs, it says, when a man finds a wife, he finds something good. And I ask for your hand in marriage. Thank you.
Whoa! Oh, you can't do another one? You can't do another one.
That was awesome.
You can't do another one?
I know it's a lot of women want that ring on
Rodney,
their
you got
finger.
one more. You ain't got one more.
Oh, you got, come on. Yes.
Yes.
This is your time.
Yes, come on.
This
Give it to
poem
him.
is entitled My Stage. This is one of the first poems I wrote to kind of tell my story about what I've gone
You
through.
need some water. Oh, you good? Okay.
We want to hear this.
This is my stage. And on this stage, I'm allowed to exhaust all in a rage. Rage to me is cries in my eyes, which is deeply embedded to my skin by surprise. Rage is everything that I've gone through, and rage is everything that I've seen. Crying out to you for help so I can come clean. Outside that door when it's dark as stars, when a star turns to light, I'm still behind bars. Bars which I feel confided to every day. The way I keep my sanity is when I kneel to pray. And I'm asking God to please bless me with the strength to serve him every day. This time when I'm released, I can't go back out to play. You say I can't cry, then release me from this cage, and I explain to you why. Inside, pride, more reasons than why. This world wasn't meant for us to divide. And then some ask, why is that? Because sometimes I feel like if I'm in this world alone, with no one to turn to, not even my own home. Am I wrong? Or you wrong for making me feel like I'm on my own? You ask me to open up, then you treat me as though I've done something wrong. My backbone is strong. I stand erect. I won't fold with racism, discrimination, and hatred. I demand the respect. I'm sick and tired and I get choked up. You act like what I'm supposed to do. Put my skin on your bones, you'll realize what I went through. Animals are kept in cages, not me. I have my own choice. If you listen to me and see, God has blessed me with my own voice. Give me the key to release myself, and I promise you, I'll absorb all of your knowledge until there's no more left. In order for me to release the rest of this rage, I have to make it on my own. Carrying this cage, I have to stand on my own and be protectors of this cage and take any anger that will equal any rage and channel it to something positive to help myself. Before I get left in this cage by myself, if I could have one person to place trust and honesty in, meaning the person I feel I could confide in, to me that will equal 100 useless friends. This concludes my stage, and in this cage, I've left all rage.
Wow. Hey.
Rodney in the house.
Wonder Mike, do what you
Wow.
like.
There's some Kleenex. Oh, you got
That was awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I have to force myself because if I get up there with my book, I'll be like, man, get this brother out of here. Sound like I can't read. But because I want to put the emotion in it. And I don't want to be up there holding a book or a piece of paper. Yeah. Okay.
And you remember that one from your first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. And you
I force
AARP
myself
too?
to remember points.
And you in the AARP group too? And you remember all that?
I told you, I threw it in the trash can. Anything that comes to me with AARP goes in the trash can. I'm sorry.
See, that's it. I held on to mine. That was it. I was thinking about getting that little pail, the little basket. So you can get
That is awesome.
That is beautiful.
Wow.
So
Rodney.
you still have a brother
Mm-hmm.
that you
Yeah, I have a younger brother. Well, he's a year younger. He's in San Antonio.
okay. So
And-
you still take, y'all still communicate.
We don't talk every week, every month, but we
Right,
yeah.
we know.
We don't talk all the time.
We know. Yeah.
So, but I noticed in your thing, you mentioned about one of your brothers passed.
yeah, when I was in boot camp,
Yeah.
I had an older brother who lived with my grandmother. He always lived with my grandmother. And back
By
in,
your mom or your dad?
my grandmother raised us.
But I mean, the oldest brother is by your.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was in boot camp. I'll never forget, 1990. I was a month into boot camp. I had received a call from Red Cross.
Mhm.
They told me to go to the Red Cross building, and I found out my brother died in the fire. New Year's.
Oh my God.
New Year's Eve. He fell asleep because he was drunk. Fell asleep with a cigarette in his mouth and burned up the back part of my grandmother's house, and of course, he burned up in it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
so why was he not with you and your brother? Your mom, since he was the oldest.
So my mom had a total of 5 boys.
Oh, really?
Really?
A total of 5 boys, and and it's just, her brother said this the best. He feels that she wasn't supposed to have kids, and this is her own brother said. My uncle,
Oh,
he said this,
okay.
and and there's validity to what he said
Right.
because she never was grounded in raising any of those boys. As I said, my older brother Kevin had always stayed with my grandmother in San Antonio.
Mhm.
And then, of course, what she did to us.
Mhm.
And then the 2 boys she had with Joe eventually hit the streets and started doing a bunch of mischievous things.
So,
And now both of them are locked up.
So
in the
Joe
pen.
wanted
So,
a good dad anyway.
my thing is, what does she think when she looks back? Now, I've heard how she tries to take credit for my success.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
They always
and-
want
yeah,
to
they
do
and
always
that.
do that.
She had nothing to do with it.
Right.
That's all my grandmother.
Right.
Let me go back to
Mhm.
when the Red Cross called you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what I did, Rodney.
Mm-hmm.
When Keith's father passed, of course, you're supposed to contact the Red Cross.
Mhm.
Guess who I called?
Oh.
The Salvation Army.
Kimberly.
You was on your right frame of
She
mind.
did. She
I
knew.
know,
That's
she was.
AARP.
No, you
And
weren't
they said, "Do
thinking.
you mean the Red Cross?" I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm sorry."
Why would you have to call
No.
the Red Cross?
She was stressing.
Because you're supposed to contact the Red Cross. They help you contact them when they're on the ship,
Absolutely.
and
Mhm.
you can
Yeah.
tell they're out to sea.
Yeah, you get
Oh.
their outlet just get through to whatever U.S. serviceman is serving,
Mhm.
regardless of what it's
Oh,
serving.
because this is
Right.
what? The people that's in the military or what?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Is it all branches or just the
Well,
Navy?
the Red Cross is separate from the military, but
Okay.
that's who parents and everyone call
Mhm.
if they're trying to get word to their loved ones in
Okay,
the military.
okay, I
And it's
see what
Red
you're
Cross
saying.
responsibility to reach out.
So you knew when you got that call something.
You
had
know,
happened or what?
no, I'm
Because he
going to
was
say
in
no.
boot camp, he was fairly new at it, right?
Yeah, I
You're
was
right.
20, and again, my first month in boot camp, and I remember my company commander said, "Hey, you need to go down to the Red Cross building. They got a call or something like that." He told me,
Mhm.
and when I got down there, that's when they told me. And I remember when I went back to the squad bay boot camp, open squad beds
Mhm.
everywhere. I remember I was so angry. My friends were messing with me. They had no clue what just happened. So I'm walking back in there, I'm angry, and next thing you know, I pushed over all these shelves that contained our clothes and everything.
Mhm.
And then, of course, once they realized it was something serious, they tried to console me and find out what was going on. I was given the option to get out the military. I was. They said, because they understood.
Yeah.
And, it was a very unfortunate situation, but I had to look at, I get out the military, what do I have?
Yeah.
Right.
No education, no nothing. What do I have?
Right.
I go back to San Antonio and do what? Work at Popeyes? That's why I was
They make
working
good
at.
chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, well, now they do.
Dirty rice.
But
But that's good that you thought that out, though.
yeah, I said, they allowed me to go home on emergency leave
Okay.
for like a week without setting me back. And when I say setting me back, that means put you back with another company just a week or two behind you.
good.
Right.
No, they
That
didn't
was
do that.
good.
They allowed me
Good.
to finish,
That was good.
and I eventually I graduated and I moved forward in my career.
Oh, wow.
That's excellent.
Did you
And-
travel a lot? Did you go overseas?
I did.
Mhm.
How long were you in the Navy?
20 years.
20.
Oh, 20 years. Okay.
Mhm.
20
Lord.
years. Wow. So now he's retired, right?
I retired at
Retired.
40.
I can't believe he
At
looked good
40.
at 50.
Very well.
Gosh. Okay, so Rodney, can we still get in touch with you at this website?
Absolutely.
The website, we're going to put it on the screen too, is www.rodneygreenwood.com. And get his book.
Yes.
This is one of the
Yes.
books he said, The Stage Sold to Mike by Rodney R. Greenwood is his story. And I know we get ready to close out, but Rodney,
Wait, one more question.
okay, go ahead.
You play saxophone?
I play saxophone.
I didn't know if you was just holding like some things I hold. I don't necessarily know nothing about.
Why you
I
bring
do.
your sax,
Oh
man?
no, that's a little too much.
Okay, you gonna have to come back and do saxophone. We're gonna have you come back and do a show for us,
yeah,
Rodney.
yeah.
Sax.
You gonna come back and do a show for us,
Oh,
Rodney.
man, I didn't see that
I try to
one.
dibble and dabble.
Oh,
God
okay.
has
Just
blessed
come
me.
to church Sunday and play it.
Just walk in with some play it, then leave.
Yeah.
But this is so exciting to have you
Amazing
on the
grace.
show.
Yes,
Rodney, what would
Rodney.
you tell our audience, the Facebook and YouTube? What inspirational words would you leave with them tonight?
At the end of the day, we're not dealt an even hand. It's just regardless. So you have to accept what God deals you, and you have to make the best
Yes.
out of it.
Yeah.
Now, there's two things you can do. You can make up an excuse and
Thank you.
justifiable reasons for you not to be
Right.
successful,
Right.
Say
get
it.
through those barriers, or you can make up your mind that you want to get through the circumstance regardless. If you got to go through it, go over it, or go around it, there is light at the end of that tunnel.
Yes.
Yes.
One thing I've learned, God does not put problems and situations in front of you that he does that you will not achieve, that you will
Right,
not
right.
conquer or
Yes.
get through. But you have to be patient. A
Right,
lot of times we
right.
talk about faith, right?
Right.
And let me just leave it in God's hands. As soon as we
No.
get up, we take it back and we
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
handle it.
yeah.
But then we're frustrated.
Right.
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 That's not what faith is. Faith is leaving it in God's
Yes.
hands and leaving the problem there and move forward, and He will work it through.
Right.
Yes.
But you keep moving.
You have to.
Yeah.
You don't stop
You can't
just
worry
because
about
you're
it.
giving it to
You
God.
can't.
You got to keep on because you got to faith without works is dead.
It's not about our time; it's about
That's
His
right.
time, and
That's
that's
right.
where the misconception is. Oh well, I prayed. Well, no, that's not what faith is. He's
Right.
just not going to reveal it to you because you prayed.
It's a substantive
Right.
thing, hopeful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still got to
Evidence
keep
of
that
things
faith.
not seen.
Mhm.
All right.
And it's so good to have a man on the show talking about his childhood.
Yeah. And
trauma.
you don't get that.
You don't get that often.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate
coming,
you
Rodney.
sharing.
Thank
Rodney,
you
can
guys.
come back and
You
be
have
with us
some-
on
Anytime.
Sister Chat, man.
Yeah, talk about
Anytime.
love.
We
You gotta
get to
tell us
talk
about
about some
love.
stuff.
Yeah, you gotta talk about
Anytime.
Yeah,
love.
we would love to have you to come back. You're
Your
so
take on
motivational.
love and
Yeah.
marriage.
But we got a fashion show for you. Miss Kimberly is going to fashion.
Imagine that.
I thought I got away with it.
She
I
has
thought I
been
got
short
away
since
with it.
I've known her.
I thought I got away with it. I thought I got
Kimberly's
away.
our Talk
with
of
it.
life with Elma Fashion. Okay, tell us about what you're wearing tonight.
Okay,
Kimberly.
first of all, I want to thank Emmanuel for having these new lights. You can probably see the ash on my feet right now. Thank you for the new lights, Emmanuel. I'm taking these lights home. Today I have on my Gabrielle Union top. It's like a graffiti top.
I like that.
And then some shoes I found from Shoe Deal years ago that kind of matched it.
Yes,
So
it
I just kind of
does.
threw it together.
Oh, those are beautiful, Kimberly.
Aren't they cute?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Aren't they cute? And this is my who made this bag? I love this bag.
It
It's
said
my
pucker.
it says Pucker Up. It is by what is her name? Let me peek in here. Because I like her bag. She make beaded bags. Mary Frances. And I like collecting her bags because they're conversation pieces. It says Pucker Up.
Yes, it is.
They have
Oh,
lips
wow.
on the other side. Yes, these lights are amazing, Emmanuel. I just want to stand here and just talk, and the lights are shining. I love it. I love it. And these are my pants from Zara. I like Zara because they have a nice snug fit for
Are they
women over
online?
50. Zara is online. They snug you. I had to jump in my pants. to
They are
get
cute.
to work.
I like those.
Yes, so I like Zara. Yes, come on. Kirkspiration. Yes,
These
yes.
Kirk Inspiration T-shirts. Yes. And these T-shirts are designed by Emmanuel Kirkwood.
Yes.
And look, some of them are just brains. And some of them are just the cross. Because we all been crucified.
Down at the cross.
But you can show it.
Down at the cross. Where I
Some
first.
of us have some Godzilla in us. Woo! But you can go on www.kirkinspirations.com. You can order your shirts. They will come through the mail. And the one I like this one. Try God. That's what the Talk of Life talk show is about. God, Jesus. Hey, Easter is coming up. But anyway, go to www. What did I say? You know it's ARP. Kirkinspirations.com.
545.
But check it out. Also check out www.thekirkbooth.com. If you have an event, make sure you check us out. I guarantee you're going to have fun with the Kirk Booth. We do it all, okay? Weddings. What else we do?
Quinceañera.
Oh, yeah. Kissing-yetta. It's kissing-yetta.
Quinceañera.
What?
Keith Adder. Keith somebody.
But anyway, that's the AAR. Okay? But anyway, we have fun with the Kirk Booth, wedding, family reunion, whatever. And if you're having a family reunion, we can do double. We can make your T-shirts and all of that. So
Father
check
and
us out.
daughter.
Father and daughter, all of it.
Funeral.
I haven't been to is at a funeral.
Yeah, but you want to
I
do a
wanna
few.
go there. So if y'all, we ain't gonna say it like that. But anyway, signing off. Anyway, we gotta start when we finish, and we're so happy to have Rodney with us.
Yes,
And he is such an inspiration. I
Yes,
told
he
him
is.
today, I said, Rodney, I can't wait to see you and meet you. He was so excited. And now I see why, but I was reading the story. But
Yes,
remember to
Rodney.
check out his book, The Stage Sold to Michael. We're going to have this information up for you. Check out his website and all.
Yes.
Again, if you would love to be on the Talk of Life talk show with Elma, to tell your testimony or to even produce your book, we're out there. We're going to put you out there. Those that don't know Rodney, I guarantee you after this show, you will know Rodney. Hey, put a ring on you.
Rodney Green.
Single women.
Big
Wait a
Diamond.
minute, wait a minute. Is Rodney E. Green on Facebook?
And
Rodney
no, it's
R.
Rodney Aura.
R.
A-A-R-P. Rodney. Not Rodney E, y'all. It's Rodney Aura.
Green.
You go to Rodney E, you gonna get another green one.
Don't find this one. Find this
No,
one.
so, don't listen to Kimberly. She just got new in AARP. London, I've been in for a while. But anyway, if you all would love to be on the show, www.elmatalkshow.com. We would love to see you. Check us out every Monday and every Thursday, 8 p.m. I can't ask Linda. It's 8 p.m. Facebook and YouTube. Okay?
But we start at 5:45.
Taping, okay? And we also do a photo shoot. So you gotta get pictures and everything when you come on the show, okay?
Yes.
Plus, we need sponsors. We need you to help us out. We love you until we see you face to face. We're out.